Hi, Assalamualaikum and very good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you for tuning into our first OMFS podcast. Okay, so I'm Dr. Shahir.
I'm Dr. Sophia. I think first of all, Shahir, we apologize to all our viewers for the slight delay.
Yeah.
We had some technical issues, which I'm glad we sorted out.
Yes.
So good
Okay.
to start rolling now.
Okay, so the title of our podcast today is OMFS, the beginning. I would like to welcome and thank you to our guests today, Prof. St. Ong and Professor Dr. Zainal. Thank you for coming today.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you.
most welcome.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you for your invitation.
All right, before we go any further, Profs, allow me to introduce the two of you briefly. I'll
Yes.
try my best because it's impossible to sum up your amazing careers. So, Prof. ST is a alumni of University Malaya,
Yes.
JPA scholar to do
Yes.
your undergraduate, and then furthered your masters and gazetted in KKM. Served there for about 7 years plus after your
14 years.
14 years in whole, but 7 after Great. And later joined UM to
Yes.
lecture.
Yes.
Yeah, and you had held various posts, important posts such as the head of department for maxillofacial surgery and also then the deputy dean at
Yes.
one point of time. Yeah, Prof. So currently,
Yes.
Prof, what can you share with us? What are you doing currently?
I'm currently still practicing.
Alright.
Okay, and I'm
That's
doing.
fantastic.
I'm a young professor for International Medical University, IMU.
Wonderful.
Yes, still working. Okay.
Thank you, Prof. That's why we got you here today to inspire all of us to keep doing the magic. Okay, Dato Zainal sir, you yourself did your undergraduate in Dhaka, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, and then probably full time always have been with UM, very loyal
Yes,
to
all the time. All the time in
Yes.
university.
So did your masters in Eastman, sir?
Yes, and
Yeah.
UC College London, yeah.
Yep. And also held various posts such as the head of Department of Maxillofacial Surgery
Correct,
and
yeah.
twice Dean of the dental school.
Yeah.
terms.
Okay.
Yep. And also various positions in various committees in University Malaya.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you left them for a while and now you're back with UM again.
Yes, I was in the ITM for 3 years
Yeah.
after my retirement.
Ah,
And
nice.
then I'm back to UC Malaya.
Still also working.
Yes.
Yes, I don't know. I think we have nothing to do. I retired in 2020 and found that I couldn't stay at home.
Fantastic.
Try to be busy.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay, so OMFS, the beginning. Actually, the beginning is a metaphor to emphasize the fundamental step of either your in terms of knowledge, breakthrough, career growth, success, and transformation in oral and maxillofacial surgery. So, as introduction, I would like to ask probably Prof. St. Ong briefly how actually you first got interested in oral and maxillofacial surgery.
Oh, okay. Quite by accident. Or actually, I have been quite interested in hospital work. So right from beginning, I was already targeting hospital work. That's where everything evolved, right? Oral maxillofacial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Prof. Then today, as we all know, we are celebrating the International OMFS Day. So, what does it mean to you, and why is it important to celebrate it?
Okay. Actually, when we first started, we only see our specialty. We don't go very much beyond, and there's already a lot on the plate. And now that it is more recognized worldwide, I think the International Day is very important because it sort of bring highlight to the profession, not only to highlight to ourselves the importance of our job, but also to educate the public about the importance of oral maxillofacial surgery. I think it's a good day to celebrate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sometimes to pronounce the oral maxillofacial surgery is full mouth.
Yes.
Full of mouth.
Even to me right now, oral and maxillofacial. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Prof. We're just wondering, because this field is very specialized and requires a lot of commitment, especially I'm sure during your earlier years. So if maybe Prof. Zainal, you can share with us how did you start into OMFS?
I think I'm more or less like Prof. ST. I like hospital work, and right from the day one, I always want to be a surgeon somehow. Okay, then after my BDS, I was given opportunity to join UM. Then of course the only surgical based, what do you call that, dental based surgical specialty, oral maxillofacial surgery. So I think I've got that excitement from the early days.
Meaning
To
from
be
your
a surgeon.
undergraduate years, you already
Yes, in fact,
loved
before the undergraduate days.
What was your training
was
in Dhaka? Very when we were in USM, we were very much medically trained. Also, was that about the same?
Yeah, I think the human disease part in Dhaka. I mean, those days, we do the ward rounds, and we go to operating theaters, and the hospital part of training is, they take quite seriously, and involving the postings in all the medical wards and surgical wards.
Nice, Prof. SD yourself. Is this like the
No.
hospital? When you was mentioning the hospital part of of training, right? I'm wondering, was it the on-call part or the medical management, or which part of it that enticed you to pursue?
I think I like the medical and the medical part of it more than the surgical actually. But then maxillofacial, somehow we know we have to be more into surgery than medicine. And during the early days, we were called dental specialists. We were not even, we were pakar pergigian, dental specialists. So we practically have to do everything, including endodontics.
I see. Even though you were already a full-fledged.
Even though we were like oral surgeon.
I see.
So we see a lot of involvement from a pakar pergigian to a pakar pembedahan mulut dan maxillofacial. So it is a big improvement.
Meaning even in the term itself is a large leap.
Yes, there it is a bit of a struggle even to get to that.
Correct, and I think some of our colleagues are also still struggling to get that term settled in, and for people to
pakar bedah mulut right first, and then pakar mulut dan
Maxillofacial.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it is a big improvement, I would say, from a pakar pergigian.
Interesting. Prof, was it difficult to get into the program, like from a KKM point of view at that time? Was there a lot of competition or limited space, spots available? How was it like the? Because nowadays there's probably 6 spots and like 60 candidates. You know.
Last time, I think the cake was there lah, but not many candidates. Actually, not many candidates to say want to do maxillofacial, and so we are lucky, we get to where we want to go quite early on. And it's almost like automatic. You serve a few years, you serve your rural service, and there you are, you get your scholarship. But of course, then most of us would have been through hospital service. Yeah. You would have done some hospital work, and I think that is very important. The early training for you to follow up, because it's only during your early days that you get to train. Later, you have to train other people. So so during the early days, before you even start your postgraduate, you should already be mentored quite extensively.
Was it the same for you, Prof. Zainal, in when you entered MU to secure your spot as a surgeon?
Yeah, I mean, in Stimler, I start my training in 1989 when I joined as a training lecturer department, and I think I was quite, privileged at the time. There's so many seniors, we have Professor C.B. Lian, Professor Lim Kun Ching, and I was placed under their mentorship. Yeah, and there's other Prof. Ghazali, Professor Dr. Makno, And later on, Prof ST actually my senior. Yeah, but she joined a bit later than me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was privileged to have many seniors, and I must say that I've gone through quite a good mentorship over there. And I stayed as a trainee lecturer for about 3 years there, and then I went to UK for my further training.
So the path was, I mean, like somewhat. It wasn't like a race or anything for you. You had your time to grow and slowly.
Yeah.
We are very lucky.
Yeah.
During
I
that
like
time,
it,
Yeah,
privilege.
now the
Okay.
cake is still there,
Oh,
but
I forgot
a
to
lot
mention,
more people to share.
To share.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention Prof Kana Kanayakam.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one that earlier there. And he started the HA network at Museum Malaya. At that time, we did together with general surgeon rather than ENT. Yeah? We have combined.
Interesting.
Prof Krishna, I remember the name. That was 1989.
I see. Right.
So, Prof, now we're looking into the impact of OMFS lah to you. So, this question to Prof Zainal, as a surgeon, OMFS procedure can make a huge impact and on patient quality of life. Can you share a story of case that left you a lasting impression on you, either personally or professionally as a surgeon? Any case that you can share?
I mean, of course, our career have ups and downs. Okay, I mean, being a surgeon, sometimes you achieve, I mean, something, and somewhere you can say that you fail. Okay, many cases to share. Yeah, my special interest earlier was very much into virtual surgery. Yeah. So that's excited me quite a lot.
How early was that, Prof?
It was, I mean, late 90s, early 2000. Yeah. That time we don't have any software to maneuver the image, and we have our own open source. I was privileged to collaborate with Professor Sivanathan, who is a dean of computer science at that time. He got these artificial intelligence tools. He
In UM.
he connect multiple CPUs to make a supercomputers who could maneuver those CT scan image into 3D and manipulate them, slice them and mirroring and that kind of things.
Wow.
So I could see that the benefit in my practice, especially in reconstructive surgery, when you want to rebuild human faces, because face is very sensitive to views of the public. Any discrepancy more than 2 millimeters is visible. So the only thing that who could do the things right, who could put the displaced part of the human face into the original place in 3D coordinate is by computer. But of course, you have to apply in all scenarios. So those
You won't
quite
imagine
satisfying.
last time we were using slices of X-ray film.
Yeah.
This thick
Manually.
X-ray film.
Manually.
Yeah, you go through slices of them, and now it's all in
That's
computer.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We demo our first virtual reconstruction at the Sabajaya, the auditorium there, where people put a spectacle, a 3D spectacle, and you could see the skull rotating in the air, mid-air, and then how the defect face been corrected virtually. That's our first demonstration. That was, I think, in early 2000.
Yeah. Okay. As Prof Zainal mentioned just now, there will be always ups and downs in OMFS lah. So Prof ST Ong, how actually you balance your technical surgical side of OMFS with the emotional and psychological aspect of patient care? Because every day we fight with our
Actually,
emotions sometimes,
Yeah.
and then we drain out.
Yeah, actually, it is very it can drain you emotionally.
Yeah.
Technically, you can be trained, but the emotional part is difficult. I always remember, especially dealing with cancer patients, from especially when they can't do well and come to. I remember discussing at one time, with you, as one patient, we brought up, what is a good death? Remember?
Quality of
Yeah,
death.
what is a
Quality
good
of life,
death? We
quality
know
of
what
death.
is a good life. What is a good death? And that's when you face, people you try to save until the end. But sometimes it
To what
drains
extent?
everybody's
Yeah.
energy,
Yeah.
including the family. So then we have to think, what is a good
Yeah.
death. Until now, I still cannot settle this, reconcile this
cannot
thing,
reconcile
you know,
feeling,
cannot
yeah.
reconcile. Yeah, I think this is the emotional part that is
Yeah.
most difficult for us. Yeah.
You know, let me share. Frankly, those worldwide data said whatever you do, your cancer patient worldwide global data, 50% of them gonna die.
Yes.
Half of them gonna, but you don't
Yes.
know which one.
Yeah.
So when your patient go down, when you lost a patient, it's quite demoralizing.
Yeah.
At one time, I used to pack, I don't know, the neck where the patient's bleeding from the perforated carotid artery. And the patient looked into my eyes and said, Prof, don't give up on me. I'm not going to give up.
Yeah.
So quickly, I called our interventional radiologist to stent the artery to prevent bleeding. Okay, for that, but you cannot control the cancer. You know, what keep you going on? I always say this to my postgraduate, what keep you going is the patient who survived.
Yeah.
You saw the patient who you thought that you're not gonna make it, and they make it. And I saw recently my patient 20 years ago, I did surgery, and they're still around. And it's that build your excitement. I mean,
Motivate you.
it balance up
Yeah.
from your demoralizing from what the patient that you lost. I think that's keep you going. I suppose so.
Well, I think on that note, I'm wondering, what would you think, Prof. ST, is the biggest challenge the current generation of surgeon have in terms of managing the expectations or embracing the current technology? Yeah.
I think time is more difficult, the current generation. During our time, I think things seems to be simpler. I don't know, but maybe it's so distant. So I see that the young ones, they have more struggle because there is technological part, there is the administrative part, there's legislation, there's all kinds of things to handle. So I thought during my time, I seems to have an easier time. Yeah. Now technology, everything is too competitive, very competitive. I just hope that you won't give up, but it's also an interesting time. So interesting, that I'm also trying to catch up on the latest in terms of technology, although I don't use it. Yep.
Thank you, Prof. And Prof. Zainal, maybe your views on the challenges in terms of training these new budding surgeons?
I suppose the challenge is not much different than the earlier days. Okay. I think in this training field, I think you need more rather than straight away you deliver them the knowledge they need to know. You also have to inspire them, when they started. But it's good thing that early days where not many established centers, okay, and they become sort of the pioneer of the area.
I see.
Okay, so I mean they start from the beginning and build themselves up.
Correct.
Now because all the centers in the KKM has filled up, then you have to go in the place, except for a few centers in Sabah. A place already established, so they have to have a tough time to accommodate themselves. We have to already establish.
Fill in somebody's shoes.
Especially you want to start a new thing on your end. You have things that you want to do things your way.
Yes.
It's not easy.
Yeah, because you already had a predecessor.
So I think we have to change that. How to change our way, of inspiring them, so that they can more flexible, in adjusting themselves with the thing that they already established there. How could they accommodate themselves? How do you negotiate with their seniors? How do you negotiate with their colleagues? So in that terms, I think
more than the technical part of maxillofacial surgery.
I think those days, I think probably I used to remember the early 80s. Kelantan Terengganu have only one surgeon.
Yeah, we used to not have
Kelantan
many.
Terengganu Pahang only
not
one.
have many.
Yeah.
So they cover one place to another. Anyway, to me, the most important thing is to keep doing what you're good at. Especially you look at the world now. You may not be what is established, and so we should be doing what we know best and what we believe in. That's most important. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
So, in other words, if let's say student or young professional interested to pursue in OMFS, Prof. Estiang, what would you advise?
Okay. First thing is you must know yourself and you know the profession, so they cannot just jump in like what we used to, Even then, we also know, I know I won't be an orthodontist, I won't be this, and I like oral surgery. So, and then commitment and also willing to learn and accept because, let's face it, most people may not want. If we haven't been through all the bullying, it's wrong. We also have been. We have to accept, all the what we call the senior scolding. So you just have to accept, You have to be robust to challenge other people. I remember when I first the senior who told us, this generation are not as wholesome. I was thinking, so if you think we have not been through, we have been through all that also. Yeah. Current day, they call it bullying. We don't call it bullying, We just accept it. It's something we need to do. Can you imagine last time? Department, you could order your nurse to clean the place, clean everywhere until it's sparkling. But now you try to do it to anybody. No way. Yeah, but we don't treat it as bullying.
Yeah.
It's like part of your training, part of your.
It's a challenge
To
for
build
you.
yourself up.
Yeah.
A challenge for you.
You have to. Yeah.
I see.
Yes.
So,
All right. So, and on that also same note, basically, to the for mentorship, I think we were also speaking something about what is what's your take on mentorship? Is it still relevant to OMFS nowadays? Do you think because nowadays you've got YouTube, you can learn by any means, and always people will challenge you. They can learn themselves. I mean, even the patients come to you very well versed. So, what's your take on mentorship in this?
Mentorship is very important in anything, any field at all. Of course, you can't learn from YouTube. You can only refer, and patients will think they know more than you. Of course, they will challenge. And that's why you need to keep up with time also. You have to be able to know where they get their sources and how to counter them. But mentorship is very important. And we must have the willingness to learn, not necessarily follow everything that mentor tells you, but to pick up what is best. And then you can learn from many mentors. Don't just learn from one sifu. Yeah, you can learn from many sifu, Otherwise, you only cook one meal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
interesting metaphor.
Yeah.
You could only cook one dish.
Yeah.
And Prof. Zainal, what do you think is like maybe one or two of the main skills that a trainee surgeon need to have with them when they join the program? I mean, what skills do you think that will make them make it through the 4 years of gruesome grilling training?
Yeah. I think the most important thing is your sound knowledge in the form and function of human being. Their basic science. That's what you need for the entry to start with. Okay. I always believe that with strong basic science, physiology, anatomy, microbiology, pathology, and all those things. Those are the main knowledge that they need to know. That need to be with them upon joining the program. And they should not get it upside down. They have to get right human form and function.
And it's always said that surgeons are very difficult personalities, like very, they want it their way. Do you think that is a prerequisite also to becoming a surgeon?
Oh, no.
It's personality. I mean, it's not all. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's all character. It's different.
Yeah. I think
That way, that way.
You don't have to be arrogant to be a surgeon.
Yes. I didn't want to say it, but
Yeah. To be a good surgeon. Yeah.
yeah.
Human behavior is still important.
Yeah.
Humanity is important. being humble, and I believe you can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's always that thought that if you take into account other people's opinions and whatnot, that you don't have
Whether it's going to take over our job or not, I guess not yet. Not that far, you know. Yeah, I think it's a good.
I think we are trying to taper down the.
And we have workshops there. Workshop is to plan the field forward together, and this IOMS at that time already formed the Education Foundation, where they bring all together, and because of that, I feel privileged, I feel blessed, I feel lucky that I choose the right profession, and for the last 3 decades, you could see that there's a tremendous advancement of our specialty, and we are always been how I may say that, can I use the word a bit underdog in terms of surgical specialty, because being a dental based specialty, probably because of that, we tend to do more than the others, tend to stay more in unity, tend to help each other more, and we could see that people in Cambodia, for example, the whole association was inspired to help them and to start a program now, and then we also playing a part. And there's some surgeons there to mentor the new surgeons. It's happened all over the world, and those who developed nation helping the others to come up together. And I think I would say very bravely that we in Malaysia, we move together with the rest of the world in terms of advancements of the specialties, in terms of the surgical scope, and in terms of other achievement in the patient management. I don't know about Prof. ST, I don't know whether she said this here.
We are halfway through that 50-year plan, Prof. Are we on track?
Most of the thing discussed there was about the changing trend in the patient, and most then focus on the aging. Because in Europe, there are, the increase in aging population because of less production of the
Less productive. Less children.
Less children, less production of babies. Okay. So we're talking about the changing disease and changing trend. And a few of the sensitive issues was spoken there as well, but not to mention it.
Okay. I think, I have only admiration for the younger generation. You're doing your vision, you have the vision, and you have the willingness to work. But it's a matter of time where there will come another tier, where you can really be specialized in certain things and train. At the moment, it's quite spread out. Everybody is doing every specialty. So I'm waiting for the time where you can have centers. Really, the center of excellence hasn't really come out clearly yet. And I hope that will be the next step. Center of excellence, and you will train only on specialties. And I think all the time we have been thinking about that along that line. Because now, everybody is doing everything, and you can't be master of all trades. So we are waiting for those center of excellence to really be center of excellence in certain things. Yeah, that's all.
That's a very interesting point of view, Prof. And also on that note, is there anything that you would have done differently, Prof, throughout your career?
I'm probably
more subspecializations or anything?
Actually, I'm very happy with how I have progressed all along, until so much so that I'm still working. That shows that I'm still, I still like my job. Okay.
Yourself, Prof. Zainal? Anything that you wish?
I'm the same as Prof. ST. I have no regrets for me. This thing excites me so much. Every morning I wake up, I just looking forward to go to work. I'm looking forward to meet my postgraduate, and looking forward to meet my patients. And I think I realize that I'm already old.
No, he's doing much better than me. I'm more relaxed.
So I think the most important thing in life, is you have to like what you do. Once you like it, it's nothing matters anymore. And you cannot see it as a problem or challenges at all. It just gives you the excitement to rise above the problem.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah. So let's say we're looking back 30 years back lah, Prof Zainal, anything you will advise to your young Prof Zainal during that time? Any you would do things differently, or what advice?
No, I don't have anything too different. I mean, just follow your heart, what your heart says and what you like, and then just go for it. I mean, never turn back. Like I saw this movie, Dead Poet Society, and they said, when the times come, you just seize the day. You know, opportunity doesn't come at any time. When there's opportunity, just grab it. Seize the day.
Seize the moment.
Yeah, seize the moment.
Yeah. What about you, Prof?
I can't think of anything differently I would have done. I guess I have not been exposed to another profession. No chance to explore, but I have been quite happy all along. Yep.
That's
Fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah,
I
amazing,
mean,
yeah.
at my age, I'm already beating myself out for so many things. You know?
During that time, I might have, but now looking back,
Okay.
looking back, it has been all good. You know, I can't remember like
Yeah.
the difficult part. You know, all are sweet memories only.
Yes, there is up and
Yeah.
downs, no doubt. But
Yeah,
then
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. When I was there at that time, I'm sure I regret. Oh dear, why am I here? You know, in the middle of the night. You know, nobody around. Yeah. I'm sure I did that.
All right. Fantastic.
So, Sophia, before we wrap up,
Yeah,
you
we've
have
got
any-
some few
fun question to ask.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering, Prof ST, if you weren't a maxillofacial surgeon, how would you imagine yourself to? What would you have been doing? Not in dentistry.
Actually, I'm a very dull person. You know. My friends call me Madam Square. I actually not a fun person. You know? So I think I would have been a teacher only.
oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Interesting. But
Teacher.
you are a teacher.
Yeah, I would have been a teacher. If not teacher in a medical field, I
Medical
would have
field,
been teacher.
School teacher.
School teacher, yeah.
What subject specifically?
What
Just out of
subject?
curiosity.
I think I will go. I think I like humanity. You know, I was thinking if I were given a chance, I would go and do philosophy, Yeah.
Social science.
social sciences. Yes, I think I find that the world now is topsy-turvy. It's too difficult.
Moving too fast.
Yeah, so we really have to be thinking a bit more philosophical to try and get through the day. You know.
Yeah.
What about you, Prof Zainal? If not
I
becoming
did
surgeon?
many things when I was young. I play music, I paint. Yeah.
Yep.
And once upon a time, I like to, I feel like excitement to join the National Geographic Society expedition,
That's
that kind of
interesting.
things.
That's
Probably that's
interesting.
why I am, if I'm not.
Explorer.
Explorer.
Nice.
Quite excitement. I still enjoy watching the program.
All right. So, any probably any quirky moments or anything throughout
Funny things throughout your careers, maybe Prof Zainal.
Well, there's a lot of funny things actually. but,
Dhaka. I'm sure he had a lot of fun time in Dhaka.
Memorable things. When I finished my first craniofacial surgery, my house got burned down. But thank God, Alhamdulillah, it's only small part of the house. But I remember when we almost finished. Then my wife calls it my house burned down. I just remember that moment. That my first monoblock surgery.
Yeah.
What about you, Prof?
Actually,
Still?
I mean, looking back, sometimes you think I'm not family-wise. There will be some sacrifice. Like I remember once when I was operating, then the school called. Your son had knocked the head, and I have to send the nurse to send him to hospital. Because I couldn't run out. Those things, It's not easy actually. When you look back, but
sacrifice not just on your end, but
the children have to
children also.
sacrifice.
That's true. And I'm just wondering, between the two of you, which specialty you always knock heads with? I mean, like friendly knocks.
Which
Specialty?
macam like,
surgical specialty?
Anything like maybe the anaesthetists or.
No, anaesthetists will be my good friend.
they are good friends.
I hope they're listening now. They are wonderful
they're very
friends.
good.
I love their comradeship. I love their,
We have good
teamwork.
anaesthetists.
Yeah, and I think most importantly because we always been in shared airways. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Don't have
Channing
much
Pan-
conflict,
shared
right?
airways.
During
No,
our
not
time,
much
no.
now.
Yeah, we don't even have
I like
conflict
to
with
acknowledge
ENT or
my
plastics.
best anesthetist. I mean, the person I really admire is Professor Lucy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
actually
She's, I think, our pediatric
Yeah.
anesthesiologist. Always been.
Fantastic.
we all also always
Yeah.
remember your very
Good
debates
relation.
between the two of you. Yeah, very interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think we have come to the end of our podcast for today. Prof, thank you for sharing the day,
Thoughts.
the evening with us.
Sharing experience, your thought, and also
Yeah.
your vision.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
very
us.
much. Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having
having
us.
us.
Yes, thank you.
It's good
you.
to know that that we also basically have a long way to go. I mean that whatever we are going through is still a process,
Yes.
Yeah.
and
It's true.
it's the
Yeah.
importance of learning and friendship, and also networking and taking care of each other. I think that's
Yes.
very important. I think also a lot of people ask why is suddenly this year OMFS Day is such a hype.
Oh,
So why we suddenly celebrating it at a bigger scale? I think it's just probably MAOMS effort. I think
Yeah,
we would
MAOMS
like to.
effort.
I think it's a good thing to do.
We should do every year
Publicity and all.
as a same scale.
Probably
I mean,
you
maybe
should
better
do
next year.
more of it. You should do more of it. Yeah, I think it's good. You need to educate people, the public, give awareness, and I'm glad you did it. Actually, very good.
I was so happy to thank all the hospitals and universities who put up an exhibition, some balloons,
Put an
for-
effort, so much
correct,
effort.
to acknowledge this day, and actually it feels like a celebration.
yes,
You
yes.
somewhat feel that you're appreciated, so it's nice.
Thank you.
All right, so I
Okay, I
think
think we will wrap this podcast. Thank you everyone for watching. We have the recording, so whoever missed this podcast we will share the recording later. Thank you everyone for watching.
all right. Thank you.
Yeah,
Take
thank you.
care.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night.